The year is 1957. Rain lashed against the windows of London's grand estates and seeped into the cracks of its ancient alleyways. A storm raged, mirroring the turmoil that was about to unfold in the heart of the city. Big Ben tolled midnight, its solemn chimes swallowed by the howling wind. On this night, a legend was about to be born. In the upscale district of Mayfair, a figure darted through the shadows, clutching a velvet pouch tightly to their chest. They moved with a desperate urgency, their eyes darting from side to side as if pursued by unseen demons. In the luxurious confines of her Mayfair apartment, Detective Elle Darrow was far from asleep. The storm raged outside, but within the walls of her sanctuary, an air of calm sophistication reigned. Elle sat at her antique writing desk, a half-finished game of chess laid out before her. Known throughout London for her sharp wit, her unmatched intuition, and her impeccable sense of style, Elle was a force to be reckoned with. But tonight, even Elle Darrow, the woman who seemed to have a sixth sense for danger, was unprepared for the storm that was about to break on her doorstep. A sharp rap on the door echoed through the quiet apartment, shattering the stillness of the night. Elle looked up, her brow furrowed slightly. Visitors at this hour were unusual, especially on a night like this. She rose from her desk, her silk robe whispering as she moved, and crossed the room with the effortless grace of a panther. As she opened the door, a gust of wind whipped into the apartment, bringing with it the scent of rain and a sense of foreboding. Standing on her doorstep was a young man, his face pale and drawn, his clothes soaked through. He looked like he'd seen a ghost or worse.
Miss Darrow, thank God you're home.
Mr. Haynes, whatever brings you out on a night like this?
The name hung in the air, heavy with history and intrigue. The Sapphire Widow. It was more than just a jewel. It was a legend whispered in hushed tones in the grand drawing rooms of London's elite. Said to be cursed, the Sapphire Widow was a magnificent gemstone. A 100-carat sapphire the size of a pigeon's egg, its deep blue depths shimmering with an almost otherworldly glow.
Tell me everything, Mr. Haynes. Start from the beginning and leave nothing out.
The Sapphire Widow. It's been in Lady Harrington's family for generations. It's more than just a jewel, Miss Darrow. It's her lifeblood.
Jonathan took a deep breath, his gaze darting nervously around the room as if searching for the right words. Within the hour, Elle's sleek black car, its headlights cutting through the driving rain, pulled up outside the imposing gates of Harrington House. The mansion loomed before them, a Gothic masterpiece of gargoyles and spires, its silhouette a stark contrast against the storm-racked sky.
This place, it gives me the creeps.
As Jonathan fumbled with the gate lock, Elle couldn't shake the feeling of unease that had settled over her. The storm seemed to press in on them, the wind howling like a banshee through the trees. Even the usually unflappable Detective Darrow felt a shiver run down her spine.
Something's not right here, Jonathan.
The grand entrance hall of Harrington House was a testament to a bygone era, a time of opulence and grandeur.
Miss Darrow, I'm Mr. Bates, Lady Harrington's butler. I will take you to her.
Lady Harrington's drawing room was the epitome of aristocratic elegance, a sanctuary of silk wallpaper, priceless antiques and the scent of lilies. Yet even this haven of luxury couldn't disguise the air of grief that hung heavy in the air. Lady Harrington, a frail figure swathed in black, sat by the fire, her face pale and drawn. She looked like a ghost haunting her own home.
Miss Darrow, thank you for coming. The Sapphire Widow, it's gone. Stolen.
Please, Lady Harrington, tell me everything you know.
Lady Harrington recounted the legend of the Sapphire Widow, a tale passed down through generations of her family. It was said that the jewel had been a gift from a Maharaja to an ancestor, a token of love and devotion. But the gift came with a warning. The sapphire was cursed, destined to bring misfortune to anyone who dared possess it outside the Harrington lineage.
Despite the legend, curses are the stuff of fairy tales. I deal in facts, in evidence, in the cold, hard truth.
The drawing room, once a sanctuary of warmth and light, now felt cold and sterile under the harsh glare of the electric lights Elle had requested. Lady Harrington, shrouded in shadows despite the bright lights, remained silent, her gaze fixed on the empty display case that had once housed the Sapphire Widow.
A feather.
Ella, however, was anything but silent. Her mind, a steel trap sprung on the trail of a cunning prey, absorbed every detail of the scene. Her fingers, encased in soft leather, gingerly picked up a single black feather lying on the plush carpet, a stark contrast against the intricate floral pattern. The feather, a single raven's feather, was the only clue the thief had left behind. An odd choice, Ella mused, for a crime as audacious as this.
The staff, questioned individually and collectively, offered little in the way of helpful information.
Mr. Bates, the epitome of a loyal retainer, seemed genuinely distraught by the theft, his stoic facade crumbling slightly as he recounted the events of the previous night. Undeterred, Elle cast her net wider. She ventured into the clandestine world of London's underground, a labyrinth of shadowy pubs, smoky gambling dens, and whispered conversations in darkened alleyways.
Informants, their loyalties bought and paid for, spoke in hushed tones of a secret auction, a gathering of London's elite and its criminal underworld, where stolen treasures exchanged hands under the cover of darkness.
The air in the antique shop was thick with the scent of beeswax and old paper, a musty aroma that spoke of forgotten stories and whispered secrets. Dust motes danced in the weak light filtering through the grimy windows, illuminating rows of dusty artifacts and forgotten treasures. Ella, her face partially hidden by the wide brim of her stylish fedora, perused the seemingly random collection of objects with a practiced eye.
The auction, Miss Darrow, is not for the faint of heart. Only the most discerning collectors, those with an appreciation for the finer things in life and the means to acquire them, are ever invited.
Ella, her expression unreadable, simply raised a perfectly sculpted eyebrow. Mr. Finch, interpreting her silence correctly, cleared his throat nervously and continued.
There is a back entrance. But be warned, Miss Darrow, discretion is paramount. The wrong move, the wrong word, and you could find yourself on the wrong side of some very powerful people.
Ella nodded, her mind already racing with possibilities. The game was afoot and she was ready to play. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell to follow Elle Darrow's journey through the London Underground. Back in her apartment, the fire in the hearth burning low, Elle examined the invitation Mr. Finch had reluctantly provided. It was a simple thing, a plain white card with a single raven's feather attached, an echo of the clue left at the scene of the crime. The address, scrawled in elegant script, was unfamiliar, a location in the heart of London's theatre district, a place of shadows and secrets.
The game was afoot, and she, for one, was eager to play.
The Sapphire Widow was out there, somewhere in the labyrinthine heart of London, waiting to be found. And Elle Darrow, never one to back down from a challenge, was determined to be the one to find it. The air in Elle's apartment crackled with anticipation. Gone were the familiar trappings of her detective persona, the sensible tweed suits, the sensible shoes, the no-nonsense hairstyles that spoke of late nights spent poring over case files. Tonight, Elle Darrow was a creature of silk and shadow, a vision in emerald green as she surveyed her reflection in the gilded mirror.
The gown, a masterpiece of Parisian couture, clung to my curves with a lover's touch, its shimmering fabric whispering promises of danger and intrigue.
Tonight, Elle Darrow was not a detective. Tonight she was a player in a dangerous game, a temptress in a den of thieves, a master of disguise ready to meet her prey on their own terms. The air in the hidden ballroom was thick with the scent of expensive perfume, cigar smoke, and unspoken tension. Chandeliers dripping with crystals cast a shimmering light over the opulent surroundings, illuminating a scene of decadent revelry. Masked figures, their identities concealed behind elaborate disguises, moved through the throng with a practiced ease, their laughter and hushed conversations echoing in the cavernous space.
A jazz band played softly in the corner, their music a sultry backdrop to the clandestine deals being struck in the shadows. I, in my emerald green gown, navigated the crowded room with the grace of a seasoned predator. My eyes, sharp as a hawk's, scanned the faces behind the masks, searching for a telltale sign, a flicker of recognition.
She moved from group to group, her laughter light and effortless, her conversation a blend of wit and charm, all the while absorbing every detail, every whispered rumor, every furtive glance exchanged in the shadows. The raven, she soon discovered, was as elusive as his namesake. A whisper here, a shadow there, a fleeting glimpse of a tall, imposing figure melting into the crowd, his face always concealed by the wide brim of his fedora.
But I, my instincts honed by years of chasing shadows, was patient. I watched him from a distance, observing his mannerisms, the way he moved through the room with a quiet confidence that spoke of power and danger.
She noted the way he seemed to command attention without ever raising his voice, the way his eyes, dark and intense, seemed to miss nothing. And then, just as suddenly as he had
The crowd, the air thick with anticipation. And you are a thief, a very foolish thief. For a moment they simply stared at each other, their breath forming white plumes in the cold night air. Ella, her emerald green gown plastered to her body, her hair escaping its elegant confines, had never looked more alive. The raven, his face still hidden beneath the wide brim of his fedora, exuded an aura of menace that sent a shiver down her spine. I'll give you that. You're a persistent one, Miss Darrow. Rain lashed down, the wind howling around them like a banshee as Elle finally cornered the raven on a rooftop overlooking the churning waters of the Thames. The city stretched out before them, a tapestry of twinkling lights and shadowy spires, the air thick with the scent of rain and danger.
A struggle ensued, a brutal ballet of fists and feet as rain slicked the rooftop beneath their feet. The raven, though skilled, was no match for Ella's raw strength and determination. With a final blow, Ella sent the raven sprawling, his grip on the velvet pouch loosening as he hit the ground. She snatched it up, her fingers closing around the Sapphire Widow.
The game is over.
The raven was swiftly apprehended by the police. Standing on that rooftop, Elle Darrow raised the Sapphire Widow to the sky, its deep blue depths catching the moonlight. The curse, if it had ever truly existed, was broken. The storm had passed, leaving in its wake a city washed clean and sparkling in the early morning sunlight. In the elegant drawing room of Harrington House, the air, no longer thick with tension and fear, hummed with a quiet sense of relief. Lady Harrington, her eyes bright with unshed tears, gently cradled the Sapphire Widow in her hands. The sapphire, its deep blue depths seeming to glow with an inner light, reflected the morning sun, casting a kaleidoscope of colors across the walls. Ella, her emerald green gown replaced by a tailored suit of dove grey, accepted the older woman's gratitude with a quiet nod. The satisfaction of a case well solved, the knowledge that she had brought a measure of peace to a troubled soul, was reward enough. You have my deepest gratitude, Miss Darrow. You have not only recovered a priceless family heirloom, but you have lifted a shadow that has hung over my family for generations. The case of the Sapphire Widow was closed, but for Detective Elle Darrow, the work was never truly done. London, a city of secrets and shadows, was her domain, its labyrinthine streets her hunting ground, Each case a thread in the tapestry of her life, added to the legend of the woman known as the Enigma of London. For Elle Darrow, every day was a new adventure, a new opportunity to unravel the mysteries of her beloved city. And as long as London held its secrets, Elle Darrow would be there, a silent guardian, a seeker of truth, a legend in her own right. Stay tuned for more thrilling adventures with Detective Elle Darrow. Subscribe to our channel and never miss a mystery.